reporting, David Muir.
Good afternoon. We're coming on the air. We want to take you to live pictures right now because Vice President Kamala Harris is about to come before the cameras at her alma mater, Howard University in Washington, D.C., to concede her loss to former President Donald Trump. The vice president, of course, hoped to give a different speech last night, but here she is today after learning that she has lost the election to the former president. She's at her alma mater in Washington, D.C., where so many supporters had gathered last night, hoping that they would hear a much different speech from the vice president. Today, delivering this speech.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let me say, and I love you back. And I love you back. So let me say, my heart is full today. My heart is full today, full of gratitude for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country, and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. As long as we never give up and as long as we keep fighting. To my beloved Doug and our family, I love you so very much. To President Biden and Dr. Biden, thank you for your faith and support. To Governor Walz and the Walz family, I know your service to our nation will continue. And to my extraordinary team, to the volunteers who gave so much of themselves, to the poll workers and the local election officials, I thank you all. Look, I am so proud of the race we ran and the way we ran it. Over the 107 days of this campaign, we have been intentional about building community and building coalitions, bringing people together from every walk of life and background, united by love of country with enthusiasm and joy in our fight for America's future. And we did it with the knowledge that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States. And loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. The fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people. A fight for the ideals at the heart of our nation, the ideals that reflect America at our best. That is a fight I will never give up. I will never give up the fight for a future where Americans can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have the freedom to make decisions about their own body and not have their government telling them what to do. We will never give up the fight to protect our schools and our streets from gun violence. And America, we will never give up the fight for our democracy, for the rule of law, for equal justice, and for the sacred idea that every one of us, no matter who we are or where we start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be respected and upheld. And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. And we will also wage it in quieter ways, in how we live our lives, by treating one another with kindness and respect, by looking in the face of a stranger and seeing a neighbor, by always using our strength to lift people up, to fight for the dignity that all people deserve. The fight for our freedom will take hard work, but like I always say, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And the fight for our country is always worth it. It is always worth it. To the young people who are watching, it is, I love you. To the young people who are watching, it is okay to feel sad and disappointed, but please know it's going to be okay. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before. You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. And so to everyone who is watching, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice, and the future that we all know we can build together. Look, many of you know I started out as a prosecutor, and throughout my career, I saw people at some of the worst times in their lives. People
I
who had
thought she said
suffered
she
great
started
harm
out as a
and
prostitute.
great pain, and yet found within themselves the strength and the courage and the resolve to take the stand, to take a stand, to fight for justice, to fight for themselves, to fight for others. So let their courage be our inspiration. Let their determination be our charge. And I'll close with this. There's an adage an historian once called a law of history, true of every society across the ages. The adage is, only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. The light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service. HU. And may that work guide us, even in the face of setbacks, toward the extraordinary promise of the United States of America. I thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.
Vice President Kamala Harris at Howard University, likely the most difficult speech of her.
Now, as you see, she go out there with her and Doug. Now, I thought she said, y'all know I used to be a prostitute. But I don't know why I was looking at my phone. I said, whoa, wait a minute, what? But she said, I used to be a prosecutor. So what is next? She gave a very diplomatic speech, very promising speech for the future. Probably one of the best concession speeches you probably have heard in a long time. As she has definitely grown up in this election. This election shows you one of two things, but mainly she has grown up. You know, maybe she could campaign differently now. You know? That's what I'm thinking. To guide the country, or to be in a situation where you are the person that they're looking forward to hear that they're going to guide, like you're going to be in charge of guiding adults. You're going to be in charge of this. You're going to be the focal point that they're going to be focused on for the rest of their lives. A lot of people are going to be looking at you. So it's very understanding that, and very imperative that you stay involved. Because now, you know, a lot of people didn't vote for you because they didn't trust you. Now, what's going to happen with that? So if people didn't vote for you because they didn't trust you, what's going to happen now? So now this is where you can lay that foundation down, Kamala, where the people can trust in you. They can see you doing the work behind the scenes. They can see you for the first time stand up and be something that they could be proud of. They want to know if you're going to be that person. I remember when this whole thing started, a lot of people were saying, I don't really know too much about her. I don't remember seeing her too much at all, except for when we had that tragedy in Chicago. I saw her come out and give a speech. I really don't remember seeing a lot of her in the last 4 years. So that played a large part in her not being on this or in this situation or this race or whatever you want to call it. A lot of that played into this. A lot of those type of decisions that were made played into this whole layout. Now, granted, there are many people that feel this is going to go a certain way that other people don't like, don't respect. And they're going to think in their minds, this is the best thing for me. A lot of people are going to say that. But she's not going to be the president anymore. For all those people who are happy to see Kamala lose, okay. You got your wish. Trump's in there now. So now you're up to bat. So if you're not hitting home runs, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, I just want everybody to have the same energy you got for Kamala now. And I don't want Kamala Harris. I don't want you to fall back from the black people. You should be out there and more in the public eye. Don't abandon the black folks because you didn't get elected. It's because they didn't know you. They didn't trust you. So you don't have trust with the black community. And because they don't trust you, they didn't vote for you. But there's a lot of people that didn't trust you, that wasn't black. So it was very telling. So a lot of people aggravated. A A lot of people disturbed. But in the end, like I always say, we'll see how it turns out when it's all said and done. They say ignorance is bliss. And to my One Crack News brothers, either which way this goes, you already know what time it is. You can't depend on election to save you alone. So election is your protection. As I always say, are you ready to die? That's just the way it is. That's society. That's the way the general public carries itself. Absolutely. At this rate, you can count out nothing. Always know that. But your involvement is equally important. Now, for the Nate Jones story, and all my brothers here at the Nate Jones story, I want all of y'all to understand one or two things. People who are bound by faith do so because they are bound by faith. We're all not going to agree. Some believe Trump is going to lead us to destruction. He's going to bankrupt the country, sell us off at pennies on the dollar. But you got to stop it with the legislation. Now, absolutely. I'm big man Kamala lost. No. I don't use election as my protection. But I want to learn from elections. I want to learn about the policies. I want to know how can I go right here in my own town and worry about the elections that concern my neighborhood where I live. That's going to affect how money is allocated to where I live, my community. So yes, that's the big level, the president. But there's also other levels that you saw on that ballot. The judges. You saw those judges on the ballot in your community. That's hammering that gavel down. It's locking up your brothers and sisters. You saw your county in there. People running for county sheriff in the election. It's a lot of people running for offices, and many dictate in your community where you live what's important and what's not important. So don't forget to support the Nate Jones story. Subscribe to the page. hit that notification bell, and become a member. Because when we start giving stuff away, I don't want you to be the one left out. That's the Nate Jones story. Subscribe to the page, hit that notification bell,